Yesterday I did teams I'm going over on the win totals. This year today I'm doing unders. I'm trying to find the schedules for everybody right now because I closed one of them out. But we'll start out with just the ones I have up on the screen. Number 5, under win totals here. Cal, I'm saying under 4.5. They have North Texas, Auburn, Idaho, Washington, Arizona State, Oregon State, Utah, USC, Oregon, Wazoo, Stanford, and UCLA. I think that's a 5. That's 5 and 7 at best, which that would be the over. And I think that looks to me like a team that is still trying to find itself very much at 4 and 8 or worse. And I don't know. North Texas has a new coach. That's a game that's on the road in Denton. So I would really not be surprised to see them really struggle through even the first 2 games with teams with new coaches, North Texas and Auburn, before they play Idaho and then go to Washington, Arizona State, who's probably going to be better in this year, but we'll see about that. But there's a lot less toss-ups on this schedule that would call me to under 4 games for them or under 5 games.
I don't know enough about them.
Yeah. You don't?
Yeah, just being honest. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I just don't know enough about their program.
I haven't paid attention to Cal much at all, but just, going on the surface of, I need to take a look at their schedule as well here. But looking at their schedule, as you pointed out, North Texas is a fun little team to scrap with early on. Auburn in week 2, that's going to be tough. Yeah. They got a pretty imposing schedule. They do.
It's a bad year to be in the Pac-12 if you're not pretty good.
Like the only team that you could say that you feel pretty good about beating is Stanford and Arizona State, maybe, but Kenny Dillingham there now. Like, who the heck knows? Idaho. Yeah, North Texas, you should beat them. You should. But they've also got Eric Morris now there, and they'll be fired up, ready to go. So, yeah, I could definitely see under 4.5 for them next year.
To me, mostly it's just based on their schedule. Number 4, Illinois, under 6.5. And look, this was a good team last year, but you lose Chase Brown. You lose Tommy DeVito. Yes, you add Luke Altmaier, who we got to see play in the Sugar Bowl against Baylor, and that was not his favorite day because he kept getting sacked. They lose Devin Witherspoon. They've lost a lot of guys off a good team last year that Illinois had, and their schedule is Toledo, Kansas. So Kansas right there, there's a toss-up game between the two of them right there. Penn State, FAU, who now has Casey Thompson. Purdue with Hudson Card. Nebraska, Maryland, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Iowa, and Northwestern. That, to me, looks like that has 6 and 6 written all over it.
Yeah, but, man, they avoid a lot of big teams, too.
They do.
They would avoid a lot of big teams in the big – they no Ohio State, no Michigan, no Michigan State.
Yeah.
But
Boy,
they do
who is
get
Michigan
Penn
State, too? Although I understand what you're saying.
We don't know with Michigan State what they're going to be. I realize that, but more often than not, they're a pretty formidable team.
Michael, 19th, C fan. No faith in Bielema.
See, I thought there was a pretty good feeling coming out of their camp last year, but it also had to do a lot with the guys that he just rattled off that were all pretty good players. But, see, I think Bielema, like, if your expectations aren't going and winning the national championship at Illinois, then I think you're going to be fine. I don't know how he could jump up really and win the Big Ten either, but, being a consistently – postseason-bound team, I think that's more than reasonable with him. And
under 6.5 means that they're 6 and 6.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess who was the person's name you mentioned? Michael. Is that Michael? You said?
Michael K. 19th C fan.
But I understand where you're coming from. I guess it all would just depend on your expectations. But they could still be a bowl team under 6.5. So yeah, I'll go there. But I do think that they're fortunate as far as the draw. Although having Penn State there early on in Kansas, that's a game that, up until last year, you wouldn't have been all that worried about. And now you're like, okay, Jalen Daniels in week 3 or whatever, like that could be spicy. Devin Neal as well. So, yeah, under 6.5 is fair.
Yeah. At home, too. All right, we already did Cal.
Yeah, Ed and Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, West Virginia, under 4.5. Their schedule.
Man, I just can't see it, though.
Oh, I can't.
I know that they have yesterday was it Brett McMurphy that mentioned they have all 3 non-conference games are against Power 5 that term teams?
Two of the three.
Pittsburgh?
They play Duquesne. They're at Penn State to open the season. They're home for Pittsburgh, home for Tech, at TCU, at Houston, Oklahoma State, at UCF, BYU, at Oklahoma, Cincinnati, and at Baylor to close the season, a place that they don't win all that often. So this is not they got. And I said this the day we did the special show on the schedule.
Did you say they play Texas or OU?
Yeah, they play at Oklahoma.
Okay.
They play at Oklahoma. And with the uncertainty, and yes, I know they feel good about what they've done and maybe an uptick at quarterback, but this is that is a very tough first 5 weeks.
It's pronounced Duquesne. No, just kidding.
God, I really thought you were being serious. I was
You saw that well, yeah.
I love that.
This
name,
all
Duquesne.
comes down to the new teams. How do they fare against the new teams? If they have the advantage they should have, having been in the Big 12 for these last few years, I think there will be a little bit of a growing pain, a little bit of a hill to climb for some of these new teams. If it's anything like what it was like for TCU and West Virginia just a few years back, doesn't mean they won't win or make bowl games or anything like that. But if you can handle the new teams, like go 3-1-ish against them, then I think you can beat this 4.5, because Duquesne should, yes, automatically be in a win. But Penn State and Pitt in 2 of your first 3 games, like, shoot, man, that's going to be really tough. And then Tech, TCU right out of the gates in Big 12 play. I mean, both of those teams should be good. So, yeah, they're really going to, in that last 6-week stretch, that second half of the stretch, at Houston, where, Dana will be fired up.
Thursday night.
On a Thursday night, which usually West Virginia benefits, it feels like, from the Thursday night game, or at least when they play Baylor. But, yeah, BYU's at home. Cincinnati's at home. They do go to UCF. But, yeah, that's going to depend a lot on how they fare against the new 4, on whether or not they beat this. But I would go under 4.5 right now. Yeah.
Yep. Number 2, and this is Garrett and I discussed this.
Yes, it's approved.
Garrett approved it.
Hater.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it.
Paul.
Florida, under 5.5. And I only say this because unsure quarterback, really unsure quarterback, and this is one of their rougher schedules, where it kind of alternates good and bad throughout the top. But at Utah, and if Cam Rising plays in that game, I think it's a different game. But, again, the backup quarterback at Utah might be better than Graham Mertz. Yeah, that's a good point, Jack. Thanks for that text. Garrett hates Florida maybe more than I do.
Good
double whammy.
Yeah.
But Garrett's a Duquesne fan.
Then they have McNeese State, Tennessee at home, Charlotte at home, at Kentucky against Devin Leary. That's going to be a tough one. Vanderbilt at home, at South Carolina, a place that could be, looks like they're on the upswing.
They were starting to get their stuff together at the end of last year.
The cocktail party, which they might as well start drinking when that game starts too.
I think they did it anyway.
Yeah, the team.
Even when they were good.
Like, seriously, like they should just like hand the guys a bunch of scotch and be like, here, this is going to help you through it. Here you go. It'll make the pain go away.
Scotch at a tailgate party?
I'm talking about the players on the team.
Okay.
Just as soon as Georgia starts running through them, just to pop a bottle or two. Arkansas, who we don't know about Arkansas, at LSU, who's going to be really good.
Arkansas will be okay.
Yeah. At Missouri, and then FSU. Missouri, who's actually had their number here for a little while. I think right now, if nothing improves at quarterback and nothing ticks up there, under 5.5. Now, look, if they go in the portal and do something at quarterback that could shock people, which I don't know who's left anymore, but now that Casey Thompson's gone, I just think that this is going to be tough for them to get to that 6th win. Yeah,
I'm with you. Looking at the schedule right now and kind of knowing, too, that at Kentucky, especially now with a Devin Leary at the quarterback, you'd think that makes that even more of a formidable game. I'm right there, probably going like 5-7 with them right now, so that'd be under 5.5. But just glancing at the schedule and kind of rolling through it, and those bookmarks on that season of opening up with Utah and closing out with Florida State. That's not going to be easy. So I think those two will go kind of like I said with that 4 games with the new schools for West Virginia. I think how they start and close with those non-con games, big premier non-con games with the Utes and Knowles will be probably what sends them over or under that total right there.
They're playing Utah, who will be maybe a top 10 team.
Yeah.
Florida State may be a top 5 or 6 team. Georgia's going to be number 1. And LSU is going to be probably a top 5 team, right?
be, yeah.
Holy moly.
Tennessee
will be in the top 10. Maybe not top 5 as they change quarterbacks, but they got a lot coming back with what Heupel's doing there. All right, Paul, is that it?
No, well, that's number 2.
I just thought Florida would be always your number 1.
No. This one actually has a bit of a Florida taste to it. Number 1, Cincinnati, under 5.5. Now, look, their schedule really doesn't make you quake in your boots all that much as far as they don't have the Florida schedule, but their quarterback is a guy that Florida did not want anymore, and they desperately need a quarterback in Emory Jones. That's who's starting for them right now. And
it's like Baylor losing wide receivers to the transfer portal. If they couldn't play for them the last couple of years, you wonder when are they going to be good?
So Eastern Kentucky at Pitt, Miami, Ohio, Oklahoma at home, at BYU, Iowa State, Baylor, Oklahoma State, UCF, Houston, West Virginia, and Kansas. Now, look, I could tell you that on the surface, if Cincinnati was who Cincinnati was and just a little bit less the last couple years, then, yeah, that's over. But the fact that they've got a quarterback who's been cast off at Florida and Arizona State, I'm just telling you that it's not going to get much better when he's at Cincinnati. And so I'm going to say under, and I know this one might be the one that blows up in my face because their schedule does look like it works out for them, especially with another team that's on the top 5 on this list in West Virginia. But that might be one of their wins. I don't see a lot of it from them.
Yeah, it's just so hard to tell because they play, a couple of the new schools there in the middle. Play 3 of the 4 new schools, I guess. They don't get Texas. They do get Oklahoma though, as far as the outgoing goes. Yeah, man, that's gonna be right on that line, man. Vegas, kind of like Vegas knows what they're talking about, huh? Mm-hmm. It's almost like they know what they're doing over there. But yeah, that's gonna be riding it pretty close. I just with the change at quarterback, change at head coach, change in general, it's hard for me to see them not skipping any beats. And I think they're expecting to, in the change in conference, I think they're expecting there to be some obstacles, but. Yeah, I could see it. I don't know what I'd roll with right now, but I could see under 5.5 for sure. I could see a 5-7 season definitely in the Big 12.
2 of those 5 are Big 12 teams, Cincinnati and
West Virginia.
And West Virginia, man. Okay.
Now Paxton asked me, like he threatened he would be done if I put Texas at the under of. I think they're at 8.5 or 7.5.
No, I think they're at. Aren't they 9?
They're like 9.5. They were 9.5. But yeah, no, I told him I'm not going to do an over under on Texas for any reason whatsoever because when you feel really good about them is when you would say they're going to go over this, then that's when they don't, and when you're they're garbage, then that's when they do. So not touching Texas with this at all.
There is a path for Cincinnati though. Like they could start off 2-1. I don't know if you give them the Pitt win, but they should beat Miami of Ohio. They should beat Eastern Kentucky, and then I think too a lot of it depends on. Like these new schools and how they fare there, but
how do Baylor and schools bounce back if they do?
And then like how good is Iowa State? Do we have any idea how good they're going to be? I have no idea how good. I have no idea how good Oklahoma State's going to be. I have no idea how good Baylor's going to be next year, and they're right there. So, yeah, I mean they could definitely beat that, but right now I would lean more pessimistic under 6 if you were. Or under 5.5 if you're Cincinnati.
A lot of people wanted you to get into Alabama's business on the over-under, among others. Paxton, roll Tide.
I think they're 9.5, Alabama. So.
That would be as low as it's ever been, right? In the history of, like, Saban, besides early.
And that's because he's going in with a 3-guy quarterback battle into the
guys, their down years still are like 10 and 11 wins.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like
last year was tragic for them. Right. They were 11-2.
Right. Yeah. So
how are they?
That crazy.
No, seriously, they should just have canceled football. Should have just like Larry